guys, so we're just gonna have a look at what market has done since last week. So I did have a harmonic, not harmonic, I mean Eldritch Wave pointing us towards the downside here, but I had a clear invalidation. So if we break above the B high after making this high on Saturday, so that was last night, which we clearly did. We came back up here, we tapped it, came back down a bit, but then we started running through it. So I'm just gonna remove that wave completely from there right now. Remove that too. So as of right now, what do I think? We are in a higher time frame sort of zone for liquidity. So you have a bunch of liquidity all the way towards the upside, above these highs, and you have a lot towards the upside here. So if we look at the heat map on the 24 hours, we can clearly see there is more liquidity towards the upside than the downside right now. It's more yellow towards the upside. And we have been basically all of these moves towards the upside. I think I have a different chart for you also. Yeah. So all of these moves towards the upside, we are basically just creating liquidity. This is all liquidity we haven't touched. So basically people are longing here, longing here, long here, long here, and so on and so on. So we do have a bit of liquidity here, but we are likely to sweep our sort of upper liquidity first. USDT dominance is at a key level. So you will see some shop here. We can basically move sideways here a bit, then we can go up, try to get people to short, try to get people to long. We can also go even down here, sweep this sort of local liquidity before we actually see that push towards upside, sweep those, and then go down. The sort of bearish scenario here is that we completely ignore this liquidity towards upside. That's the bearish scenario we're looking at. So if we ignore this and market just starts pushing towards the downside instead, we get that shift in the market, we come down, we respect some bearish fair value gaps, and we start pushing down. You could see quite an aggressive move towards the downside, as we have just created a bunch of liquidity around here. You have your consistent of lows. You have no real liquidity sweeps like along this entire thing. Move up. You also have some major sort of levels towards the downside, 100k ish, and then we have like even lower 99.7, and as a key level for me is 99.275. So I would like to see this one get swept before I look to enter any swing longs on Bitcoin. I'm not sure we will get that after this invalidation towards the highs, but I do think we will get a pullback at the beginning of next week. So if it's only a pullback back into this sort of trend line, we can see a sweep of these lows back here, and then just bounce off this sort of trend line that we have been creating, bouncing off multiple times. We bounced off it like 1, 2. This will be our third tap, well, fourth if we count with that one as well. So there's always something to watch. We could also just come back here, grab some longs, deviate towards the downside, and then reclaim, or even just go straight down. The possibility is definitely there with how aggressive of a move up we did have. I'm sure you could count 5 waves towards the upside here as well as sort of bigger moves. Now that wouldn't be like perfect Eldritch waves, but that would it's still a 5-wave move towards the upside. So I'm hesitant for any positions right now. I'm not long, I'm not short. Just looking for further confirmation. We'll probably see on Monday market open what happens. We do have news next week, so FOMC is one, and we have some PPI, I think. So there's gonna be some big volatility next week. So we did short earlier. We did short back. Where was that? We did short back here. Here, I think. Yeah. And after that short, we did not get that breakthrough that we did want. We wanted us to break through this and go towards the downside and sweep any sort of lower liquidity. possibly push back all the way to 97 before forming a higher low, still a higher low on the higher time frames. Your low, higher low. So a higher low on the higher time frames, and then push up towards the upside, and then make a new all-time high. That's what I was initially looking for. Right now, I think it's best to just sit on your hands. Could of course buy some spot if you want from that. I know few alts are down quite a bit. If we're to look at some USDT dominance, I want to look at that, because that's also a key area for this. So we have, if we zoom back a bit, so we have, I'm gonna remove that. That too. We have had our sort of, we bounced from the bottom before we made those previous sort of highs on USDT dominance. These were the lows on Bitcoin, our recent lows. Then we did break down 9.7%. You did have sort of an ABC correction. You have not had a sort of impulse move towards the upside. You just had a sort of double top. You are starting to find a bottom here. So my thoughts is, as long as we don't break this low right here on USDT dominance, I think Bitcoin goes lower. If we do start breaking this low, I think Bitcoin goes to new all-time highs. As we can clearly see, it's bouncing on the lower time frames right now. It's bouncing off the 886, which is a common sort of target. If you were to look at this as Elliott wave, if this was your 1, this would be 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and so on. 886 is the common target here. So we are seeing a reaction of that. I am now looking for a reaction of this golden pocket, which are some fib targets. We could sweep these highs, sort of almost have these equal highs back here. So yeah, I'm hesitant for any position. I could look for some scalps on this. So if this one goes down, even retest its previous 76, then you could get a decent move on alts, as Bitcoin dominance is falling a bit. So that will be some scalp longs onto a few alts possibly. Bitcoin dominance. Okay, we see we are climbing again. We had a rejection of previous weekly high. But again, if we look at this on the hourly structure, you can clearly see that we made a low here, made a low here, a low here, a low here. So we're still not making any no lower lows. So you could be looking for higher on Bitcoin dominance, and that would be worse for alts. Of course, it would be bullish for Bitcoin, but not bullish generally. Bitcoin could dump also just gonna dump harder. So that's one worth watching as of right now. Aussie, even if we do get this sort of consolidation here, you did have your break all the way back here on the daily time frame. So a push towards the downside like this, it's not common. You're forming sort of a bearish flag, and then you'll be looking for a continuation towards the downside, and that would give us sort of this alt bull run or alt run that everyone is waiting for. There is of course a possibility that we do go up here, reclaim this, sort of consolidate a bit, then go back down and dump again. So these are the two levels I'm watching for Bitcoin dominance. Yeah. So if we start climbing here, I would suspect Bitcoin also starts dumping, and also dump harder than Bitcoin. I want to look at Solana dominance also. Obviously, by the breakdown here, it's not looking too hot. I'm gonna remove some lines here. See if I can get some fibs going. I'm just gonna take the lows. Yes, we did break below the 0.5 fib. We'll be looking at golden pocket now, which is slightly lower here. And I want to see this hold. Otherwise, it would be very bearish for Solana. So I want to see golden pocket hold. I would If that does not hold, this is sort of your last bounce area towards that 786, 886 fib, and that would be like a minimum target, like last target for me. A break below this, I'm bearish on Solana. Solana Bitcoin, we have a similar thing here. You are in a corrective wave structure, so it's moving in sort of a 5-way pattern. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are looking to finding its bottom around this demand zone. So it's a daily demand zone. You have bounced off it a few times before. So I would be looking for Solana Bitcoin to bottom out here. I would even be looking to swap some Bitcoin for Solana. So you'll be looking at the 20% move just to get back to the retest, and the reclaim up to those previous highs would be a 35% move. So you would like to see some type of reaction at the demand zone for continuation before you actually just swap it. Already one of the big ones I'm watching right now. We have, yeah. So I just drew out what I'm basically expecting for this coming day or so. So I am expecting a pullback. We did reclaim this sort of trend line. I guess you could look at it the inverse head and shoulders. But yeah, so I'm still expecting a pullback. A reclaim of 36.5 is where I will be looking to catch the move up, or if we get a pullback, I am looking to retest those previous lows at around 32 bucks, and that's where I want to position myself for a long or swing trade in spot for a sort of move towards the upside, at least a 40% move towards the upside. The first initial target would be that at 15.4%. So that's sort of a key level, key area. If you do break below this, you are looking back at the 786, 886. I would suspect we might even go back all the way to the 886 fib, and that would be a big pullback. So I don't think we're gonna get that yet, but we could get it sort of later on in the cycle. Even if we get this push down, sort of double bottom, push up towards the upside, could sweep 76, could go all the way up to 60 before actually coming down back towards those levels, and that would be a big pullback. Goat, I've posted this chart also many times. Oh no, I need to remove some stuff. I mean, there's not too much going on here. We shorted this a few, what was that? That was Saturday, so yesterday. We did short it. I'm still holding my position. This one is targeting lower. Gonna take majority of my profits around that 0.71 to 0.72 of the table, cause that's where your sort of discount zone starts for gold. So that would be a bullish retest. You had a deviation towards the downside. You have a higher time frame, higher low. You have your initial push towards the upside, a breakout, and now you're coming back to retesting the breakout. A bullish retest where I'm looking to load up all the way between 0.72 and 0.62 is where I'm looking to DCA heavy into gold to catch that move towards the upside, back into those previous highs at 1.37. So that's my plan for gold. So I think we keep going down here. We did have a small pullback, small structure towards the upside, but initially we are still forming that sort of leg down. Could even look at this as just a continuation of your first sort of wave 3. We had basically the same thing happened at the top. We had this push down, sort of small pullback, and then push down. So you have that exact same thing. That's what we were looking for gold. So gold is a DCA between 0.6 and 0.72. I didn't look at ETH. I have to bring that chart up. We had a liquidity sweep today, I believe. So if we just look at this, that's pretty weak. So your strong highs on ETH, or key area to flip, is at 3.95. So if you were to flip this level, you are gonna see a push towards upside, and most possibly break this high at 4k, and then push up towards new yearly highs. In this case, that will be. You did have a nice sweep towards the downside here, so that's a big liquidity sweep for market structure shift. But you still have. Let's see if one thing wants to load. Okay. You still have a lot of liquidity left behind if you're looking at this structure on the run up. So coming back, a deep pullback this would be. So this is if Bitcoin sees 98, 97k, you would get that deeper pullback on ETH. And this pullback would be like a 6% pullback. So it's not that big. Like if we're looking at the whole picture, but it would be a nice area to look for sort of long positions or just buy spot. That's your discount zone. So discount and premium. So your risk to reward is best in the discount zone. So you want to look for longs in discount, and this works on all time frames. So when you have a move up, so I'm just gonna zoom in here a bit. If you have like a move up like this, your long sort of where you should be looking for longs if you expect market to go higher is you'd rather fib from the lows to the highs that with those recent highs before we make a pullback, and then you have a premium and discount zone. So here is your best risk to reward to look for shorts up until this high, and your longs are below the 0.5, and that's your best option to look for long positions. So that's something really important to watch, and this works on all time frames. You're looking at the 1 minute, 5 minute, 3 minute, 15, 1 hour, 4 hour. So this is your higher time frame discount zone, and that would be below 3.7k. So these are your optimal zone for swing trades between 0.5 and the golden pocket. You have an inverse fair value gap also back here as a confluence. You would still be looking for to make a higher low, just with a pullback for continuation. So that's what I'm looking for ETH. If you look in the lower time frames, I'm still not convinced this does anything just yet. Like if you can clearly see in the lower time frames how our move up, a impulse move towards the upside would look something like this when you get a move up, small pullback, and then you get an impulse. Now you have this sort of, you build liquidity on both sides, you trap longs, you trap shorts, you basically just shop your way up. So this is just people short here, people short here, people short here, here, and we just keep on liquidating them until they stop shorting. So it's a short squeeze in that sense. But at the same time, when we do that, we build liquidity all the way around all of these longs that build up. On every dip, people long, people long, people long, people long. People put their stop losses below the recent lows. So you have a lot of stop losses here, liquidations, stop losses. So these are lows we will eventually take out before actually making a sort of a move towards the upside. If we look back here, this is what an impulse move looks like. You will not see people long into this move. You can't catch, you don't really have anything to catch here. Yes, you can't really catch any sort of longs unless you play it very aggressively on lower time frames on these moves up. Like if we compare it to this one. If we just look here, I do see it is starting to push down a bit. We do have a 5 minute imbalance. 5 minute was a bullish imbalance, but we are pushing below and we're close below it. So now we're looking at it as a inverse fair value gap. Inverse fair value gap. So this is on the 5 minute, but now this is, instead of being support, it works as resistance. So our first zone of liquidity here are these wicks back here. So this is your lower time frame liquidity zone. If you sweep this and don't see a bullish reaction of it, you are likely to come back and sweep more of these lows back here. And that's bearish, good for shorts, not so good for longs. Nero is obviously one I've been talking about a bunch on both X, and I think I've mentioned it a few times before. So this is a swing trade for me that I'm already in it, but I am looking for us to retest these previous lows, make a double bottom or a sweep of the low, close above this 886 on a daily level, and we should see that push towards the upside. So this I'm targeting a big move. I'm expecting a 2, 3, 4x, maybe even 5x if we push all the way up towards that fib at 2618. But I'm looking at sort of a minimum of a 3x. My stop loss here is below these lows back here at C target, which are 0.012. This one you can position yourself on a low leverage trade or in spot. I'm doing both. So I'm looking for a retest, and I will be looking to load up even more if we do get that break towards the downside. We are currently hovering around the 786 fib, but there is no real strength to it just yet. But I do think memes are primed for higher later on this month. Dog go to the moon. We have a few areas of interest here. You had your 5-way structure towards the upside. You hit your 1 billion. Well, it's not almost 1 billion. 1618. You tapped it. You had a pullback, a small pullback into that retest of the breakout, and then a push up again. What are we looking for now? It's weekend, so when you see these breaks towards upside, there is not going to be volume really to keep these going. So you would be looking for a retest of this obviously first, but if that doesn't hold, you are looking for a pullback back into this discount zone again, below the 0.5, 618, and our previous trend line. That's your first zone. Break below that, you are looking at 886 on the higher time frame fib, previous lows back here, and that's gonna be your optimal long-term swing trade for dog without actually breaking structure. And I think dog goes a lot higher from here. Even if you get a pullback, I think it does a good 2x from here, 2.5x from there, up towards the 2618. Likely goes higher. That's only 1.5 billion market cap. So I think we see past that. One of the calls that I just made was Popcat against Whiff. So this is a chart I've been looking at. I'm gonna go on the 3-day time. I'm gonna still look on the daily. So we had a pullback on. What is that? Okay, like that. We had a pullback on Popcat, and Whiff has shown a bit more strength, but I am looking for Popcat to start bottoming out here. So we came back here, we swept these previous lows before we made all-time highs. Right. These lows back here, and then we moved up, made all-time highs on Popcat against Whiff, and then we had a 46% pullback against Whiff. So I am starting swapping back some Whiff to Popcat here at this 0.5. So this is sort of a key area. If you break below this, you could see a deeper pullback of 38%. But as long as we hold above this, I think we have a good upside potential here, back up to the highs, and that will be around the 2x for Popcat against Whiff. So I think we see some strength on Popcat. We have some bullish dips on the 12 hour. I believe, yeah, we have a daily bullish dip also. 3-day, nothing really yet, but it's sort of forming a bottom here. So, and it does have, if we look at Popcat against Solana, we do have a daily bullish divergence here also. You're making higher highs on the RSI, and you're making lower lows on the price. So this is a bullish divergence. I'm keeping an eye out. Can take a few weeks to play out, but I'm expecting Popcat to start moving and just get back above that high here at 0.057 on Solana. You should see an impulse move towards the upside, and that will be a 2x against Solana. So that is something that I'm watching for on Popcat. Did we have any requests? Layer AI. Yeah, I have a chart for Layer AI. I'm still holding that. I will be holding that. We can clearly see we had a reaction of our golden pocket. We basically bounced off it, and then we broke below it. We are looking at, I'm not sure where this comes from. We are looking at sort of these previous wicks back here first, taking out those, and you have a bullish fair value gap right around here. So filling that imbalance, tapping into the 786. Would be nice to see some type of reaction for a continuation towards the upside. This is a higher time frame trade for me, so I am still looking for. So even if you come back to the 886, as long as these 786 or the 886 holds and we don't break below our B point, I am gonna hold my layer AI for a break towards the upside, and that should be. I'm targeting a 3 to 5x on layer AI. So I think layer AI is still a good hold. It's a lower cap, but this one is basically on in a higher time frame. So this dump took 93 days. This pump took 50 days. This dump took 39 days. So don't be surprised to see some dumps here in the lower time frames. But as long as we hold our B point, I'm targeting at least back up to our B point at 0.4439, which is like a 3x over the sort of coming month. We had one more also, AXL, which I was looking at. I am looking for a pullback here too. We are showing a lot of strength, but we are at resistance. If we do decide to flip resistance here, I am looking back at these highs, B and 5 point. If we reject here, I'm looking for a higher low of the 0.5 fib, or if we look at these lows back here, fibs at the 886, so that's just around that same area. So that's just about there. So that's where I'm looking to load up on AXL on a higher low, just to swing this back up. Think this could go quite a bit higher. You're targeting the 1618 first as a fib. You have a previous high back here, and that move would be around a 2.8x. So almost a 3x back up to the highs. A really good risk to reward. You're basically risking, if you cut this, if you lose a C point or if you lose your 618, you're risking 15% for a 3x. Like that's just insane if you look at it from a sort of trader's perspective. Stop loss below here, target there. That's what you're looking at. Sure, it won't go like this. You will have drops along the way. You will have moves up. You will have pullbacks, so on and so on and so on. That's how price moves. Supra. I'm guessing it's this one. It's up 27% today. Okay, so this is a new coin. Can I check coin market cap? This one's to load in. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin looks to be pushing up into that liquidity still. Supra. 322 million market cap. Volume is not the best, but it's fine. It's always increased 60% over the last 24 hours. It's at an all-time high. Yeah, we can buy Bitcoin coin, let's see. What type of coin? This is layer 1. Some type of oracle as well. Sounds cool. Yeah, so it's a fairly new coin. Not easy to short this. 350 million market cap. Obviously you can use some fibs here from the lows to highs. Your optimal sort of long positions or buys will be below the 0.5, so I would not be buying here. You are right at that resistance from the previous high. You could be looking at a local sort of double bottom or a higher low, and you will be looking for that breakout, and I'd rather enter on the retest if strength is shown, because if you get that break just upside here and you just get some shop here and then you start breaking down again, you won't see strength towards the upside, and then a retest for continuation. Otherwise I'm looking for lower on this. 618 is obviously your most sort of optimal area. You're looking at taking off this wick back here. You have a bunch of imbalances to fill, so this one can drop quite quickly. 42% drop, that would be. Not sure how likely this is, but yeah, it's such a new coin, there is not much to look at here. If you were to look at this as a sort of a pullback structure, you would be looking at this as a ABC. I'm not sure if I can find a 5-way structure towards the upside here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess. Pretty flat. Yeah, I don't have much to there. So that will allow lower time frames. Yeah, so but we are at resistance right now, so I obviously want to be buying it, no FOMO. We look at some daily opens. Previous daily open was back here, 0.42, so I do suspect it come back and retest that at least. Can also use some previous daily highs. Previous daily high at 0.4696. Look for a reaction after sweeping that, or a pullback to previous daily low at 0.04. Strong low, yeah, it's like this has a strong low here. That would be back at the golden pocket. I can have a quick look at cat. Use the Simon's cat. I've heard about this coin before. I think I've done TA on it a long time ago. Let's see. Sure, I can find not that one. That's what I was looking for. So if you get a pullback into this big support here, that's a buy zone for that. If you just looked for some confluence, we're using fibs here. You have the, you have your 618 right around there. You are below the 0.5, so you are expecting a pullback here. You can obviously see we are downtrending here. You did create this low here, you did create this low here, so that's a higher low, but you are creating lower high, and you're looking to create another lower high. So taking out these lows would not surprise me at this at 618, golden pocket. You could see a deviation back into this 786 and then look for a reclaim towards the upside. So watch the 618 here at 37-ish, and if that does not hold, you are looking at 786 back into this previous sort of uptrending channel or zone that has previously been holding. A break below that would be very bearish, and we don't want to see that. So we start by looking at those two. That would be a 27% pullback. There's no real strength to this chart yet, so nothing I am interested in. Do I have any other card charts I'm looking at? Nyan. This is a low cap gaming coin on Solana. So I did buy some today, back here, and I'm leaving some room for more downside. Because it is a low cap, so it's at like 13 million market cap or something like that, and it's a gaming coin. So these usually take a while to play out. If you go to get a break here, that will be bullish. You start breaking down below the 0.5 again. I'm looking at 382 and 286. So these are both big zones for me. 286 is your sort of key area you want to see hold back at these previous highs back here. And I would be looking to ride this up to new all-time highs possibly, or just back into these highs. That would be almost a 2x, and from the back up to the highs would be around a 3x, or you do have a massive wick on the market open, like at 0.89 also, but that would be like 8x. So that's like extreme bullish scenario. So Nyan low cap. I'm talking a lot about low caps right now, or medium caps, because I think we are in a market where these caps, lower caps, can do sort of a 3 to 5 to 10x in the sort of coming month or weeks. Sirius is obviously one I've been talking so much about, trailing this since its launch basically. Since we are back here, I've been DCAing, I've been buying. Then I shared it back here before we just move up at 0. Well, it was at 0.4 I think, so it was right around here. And like already from there, you are up like 2-3x. If you call it bottom, you are up 6x, well almost 7x. And just from my most recent post, you had your sort of power of 3. That's there's manipulation, accumulation, and distribution. You are up a 2x from there. So this is still a low cap. It's a 150 million market cap. Yeah, so I'm still looking a lot higher on Sirius. Like just bring it back to the highs. We are still looking at a 45, well 50% low-ish. I think if we look on Dextriner, I think it's a bit higher than that, I believe. Yeah, so it's 183 million market cap. What's the top? Okay, so it's around the 20% move, only back to highs of on chain, but slightly more on this exchange. So yeah, it's like you can see, it's 150 million market cap. Obviously, you shouldn't FOMO. But you could buy like a small bunch here, and then you wait. If you get a pullback, you buy a bit more, and then if you get even more pullback, you buy a bit more. 150 million market cap. It can move quick. Buy when you see red, basically. I think this one can go to 500 million. It can go way higher than that. Also, like bullish scenario is this takes off because they implement so many different chains that people start using it more than. And then you're looking at like a 1 billion market cap, and that will be like almost a 10x from here. So Sirius is definitely one of my conviction plays that I'm holding. I haven't sold anything. I won't sell anything just yet. I think we're in a market where these sort of utility plays are primed to go higher. Which more do we have? Jasmine. Gonna have a look at that. Jasmine obviously had a massive run up also. We're going to use some fibs here. Not from the highs to the lows. That's from the lows to the highs. Your key area on Jasmine is going to be back at these highs here. What you basically wick down to around the 0.5 fib. Below that you would be entering a previous range. This will be your range then. At these highs and these 6 golden pocket. So stay above that, you are looking at a bullish continuation. You're very rejecting right now. You did create higher lows on the 4 hour. Higher low, higher low, higher low. We are getting a bit exhausted. You are looking possibly to create a lower high here. If you look in the RSI, yes, you are slightly exhausted. There's no bearish days yet. Just that high still higher. If you look in the daily, yeah, no bearish day there. A small bearish days on the 15 that are currently playing out. But yes, we're looking at, you could look at a sort of power 3, not power 3, 3 sort of waves impulse towards the upside here. So you have your push 1, push 2, push 3, and then you have a rejection of that. If I zoom in even more, like you don't have a break structure. You have a small break. You're still very well holding these lows back here. I wouldn't be looking to buy here, but it's also not very bearish. Like you could look for, if we look at this Favela gap here in bullish imbalance, like we're currently bouncing off it, a break below this on the lower time frames, I could look to short back into these lows. You could obviously see that we are having a potential head and shoulders here on the 1 hour time frame, and that would indicate that we push down if we break the neckline into these previous lows back here at 0.036. So we do some fibs, some local fibs here also. You are looking at around the 786, which is not a bad pullback. We generally want to see a reaction there. 886, if you tap the 886, you're more likely to come back to these previous lows. But that's like if you want to swing trade it or DCA it, you're looking at this zone for a swing trade. Could look for some weakness right now for shorts, so I'm gonna keep an eye on that. A break below the 786, you're looking at the higher time frame 0.5 and a fill of this weight back here. Also not bearish on the higher time frames, it's a bullish correction. We could be looking at an ABC wave, and that's where you would be looking for an expansion towards the upside. So there's that for Yasmi. I'm gonna have a look for, good morning Jordan. Okay. I think I have it on here. AVE has been really strong. Yeah, it's almost back at its previous highs. Let's mark out some key areas here. I can't do it. So these are sort of your key areas for AVE. I'm not gonna FOMO here. There is nothing bearish about this chart currently. If we look at fib extension from the low that made the high, a bullish pullback would be into 261, and a fill of the wick would be into that golden pocket. You have an imbalance back there also. You could be looking at this as a cup and handle, so you're looking for that sort of flag to play out here. So for bullish accumulation and then a distribution towards the upside. If this plays out, you're gonna get a massive impulse move towards the upside. Like a calculated move of that would be 3.7, which is just insane. But like that would be almost a 10x. I don't know what the market cap of AVE is. Yeah, it's a 5.5 billion, so that would be a bit too high for my liking. But like back into the highs from here is still around the 2x, and if you get that pullback, you're looking at around the 3x back into the highs. So really, if you have an alt that you have seen running a ton and you wanna buy it sort of later on, I don't know if it's really worth buying spot on these coins after it's already moved so much from these lows. You have multiple opportunities to buy. But looking for swing trades or scalps or so on, it's worth looking for those. So these are 3x back to the high, so you could for sure get that. So you just take that with like a 3x on a 2x leverage trade, like that shit would be like a 4x. I can look at the Popcat whiff again. I did show it previously, but I can go through it very quick. So this is my Popcat whiff chart. So we have had a massive run up. and we are coming back into a key area. This is your 0.5 fib, your discount zone. This fib is all the way from the lows to the highs at 0.38. So this is the zone you want to see hold. You could look for a deviation towards the downside and reclaim, but necessarily you don't want to lose these lows back here. Can't even. This low back here. You don't want to see us lose that. And your sort of risk here is very good. So we have bullish dips on Popcat against Solana also. So that's sort of extra confidence. And a break above this sort of descending triangle, or just what we're looking at is as a sort of equal triangle here. And you could get basically a massive impulse move towards the upside back into the highs, and that would be around a 2x against WIF. So this is Popcat against WIF, not Popcat against USDT. So I swapped my WIF against to Popcat. I also swapped some Bonk to Popcat, as I think Popcat is gonna outperform the rest of the Solana coins as of right now. We do have Popcat against Solana with daily bullish divergence. So that's also can put in a back into the highs would be a 2x. A break above that 0.0057 would give us a big impulse move. We can see it back here. We already did break above it. We had a big impulse move, 15%. Now we're just looking for the same thing, but with a continuation towards the upside. Jinan, I'm gonna look at Jinan. Is it this one at 11 million market cap? Rocketman, are you in from the lows of today or from the lows of like previous weeks? Jinan, oh, this one is really at the bottom here. This is scary. Let me add a RSI chart to this. Like obviously we see volume is declining, not good. We zoom in a bit on the 4 hour, but I'm gonna draw some fibs on higher time frame first. We are hovering right above the 86. That's your your last support. You want to see what you are looking for here is you want to see sideways accumulation. You want to see accumulation before you get that distribution push towards the upside. I personally is not buying here. I would be looking for strength. I would be looking for confirmations. Start off by a break of this sort of downtrend here on the local. You do have some bullish divergences on the 4 hour. That's good. But you want to see a volume increase. Where declining volume, you want to see a push towards upside within a spike in volume. And then enter on a retest and for continuation. Possibly take some profit. That's a 786. If you break above that, you're looking at the sort of 618 at 32 million. So just playing the fibs here. I don't think if we look at the daily time frame, you do not have any bullish. Well, you have a small bullish divergence, very minimal. Like if you look back here, you're not really finding bottom here just yet. But if you look at it like this. And you have a move down here. So there is a small bullish divergence, so you could get a squeeze up, but it's still very hesitant. It's not really ready to move just yet. But 4 hour looks good, looks better. It's not good, but it's looking okay. Holder count is increasing. That's good. But yeah, you're still just sort of downtrending. Not too much to it. Your friend is your friend. Watch volume, want a break out there, and you want a break of structure, so you want to make a new high. So this was previous high back here. You want to see a break of that, a retest, a low, higher low, and then continuation. look at Bitcoin before turning everything off. Like I said, we're just ranging. There's no break of structures. We are in an uptrend. 5 minutes. We have liquidity here. You have liquidity here. You have some big liquidations across this entire move up. But you do still have more liquidity towards the upside, up towards all-time highs. So don't be surprised to see an impulse on Bitcoin still over the weekend into the highs, possibly sweep the highs before coming back lower. Always something to watch. This could, like, if we were to look on the even higher time frames, 12 hours, so on, we could see. Oh, I have so much shit on my chart right now. Can I hide? Yeah, so we are like in a rising wedge. So if you do get that breakout, and if it's a strong breakout, we could look for continuation. If it's only a breakout, we come up, sweep it, see deviation, back into range, and then come back lower. So that's always something to watch for. It's not worth longing here. You don't have, like, where would you have your stop loss? Like, you'd be targeting this. It doesn't make sense unless you're trading on a lower time frame. Then you could see why you would long here. But yeah, so that's what I'm watching for Bitcoin here. There's not too much to it. Wait for a break before you take any trades. Being sidelined isn't always. It's not a bad option right now. I'm holding all my spot bags. Even if we sweep the highs and get the pullback, I'm still looking for higher. I'm looking for Bitcoin dominance to top out. And I'm looking for alts to sort of start running. Even if we get that push up or even this.